What's up, math scholars and math haters? This is Mr. W. Today we're going to tackle question 20 in the 5th grade math questions that North Carolina released this past school year. We can see that that a factory delivered 284 boxes of books to stores, and there are 20 books in each box, and we're trying to figure out how many total books that the factory delivered. So to do a question like this and to do it really well, this question deals with multiplying large numbers. There's at least one other question that follows this exact same strategy, but this one is a little bit easier because one of the factors that we're multiplying ends in a 0, and I will go over in just a little bit a nice trick that we can use for that makes that a lot easier. But for now, I just want to highlight this word each, and if we see the word each, as well as the word every or the word per, those three words all tell us that we need to do some multiplication. So specifically, we're going to multiply our boxes by our books in order to get the total books that have been delivered. And now to plug in some of the information that the problem gave us. There were 284 boxes, and every box had 20 books. Okay, so now the trick for when we see a number that ends in 0 or ends in a couple zeros, or even when both of our numbers end in zeros, comes from the idea that when a number ends in 0, basically it's just the rest of that number multiplied by 10 once for every 0 that's on the end. So if, for instance, I saw the number 5,700, that's the same as the number 57 multiplied by 10 and multiplied by 10 again. And the fact that zeros show up whenever we multiply by 10 is evidence that we work in a base 10 system, which if you're in 5th grade math at this point, or in 2019 or later, you've most likely heard a lot about the base 10 system, and the number 10 has come up a lot in your math instruction. So with that, the trick for multiplying by a factor that ends in 0 is that I'm going to set up my multiplication problem like I normally would, and I'm not going to use the box method for this one since this is just one digit, and we would end up doing essentially the same thing anyway, so I don't think it's worth spending time on the two methods. But I'm going to make a note over here of my 0, and that I need to put my 0 on the end of this number after I'm done multiplying it. So I'm going to go ahead and just start off with 2 times 4, and 2 times 4 is of course going to give me 8. I move on to 2 times 8, which gives me 16, also known as a 6 in this place, and then an extra 1 over here. 2 times 2 is 4. We add our 1 there, and we get 5. So 284 times 2 would get me 568. And it's at this point I just bring back my 0, and my answer is 5,680. Now, when I want to write this in my gridded response section, which I'm, of course, doing for each of these questions for those of you who will have to take this test on paper, I write in my numbers, and below each number, I look for my 5 bubble, 6 bubble, 8 bubble, and 0 bubble. So my answer would look something like this, and of course I don't have space or time to write the rest of the bubbles there.